and squeezing those muscles hard. As I squeeze that muscle, the top of the shoulder blade is pulled down towards my weight, and that frees up the motion for my arm to get raised without any impingement from it. Okay? What is up, and welcome to the home of Swell. All jokes aside, we are in our home today, so we're going to be showing you some interesting things on how you may be able to choose equipment for your home and just still be able to accomplish great high quality work no matter where you are. So today we're going to be going over the trap 3 raise or the low trap raise, however you really want to word it. All that we're going to be really talking about is we're going to be targeting that bottom third portion of that trap muscle. Okay, a lot of people you may not even see this muscle on, is so underdeveloped. And one thing that's really important about this is the upper trap, right, the one everyone thinks about, and the lower trap really have a synergistic relationship where in order for that low trap to even be able to work at all, that upper trap can't be too tight. If the upper trap's too tight, it's going to kind of hijack the scapula from free movement and completely disable that low trap from working the way it's supposed to. Okay? So one thing to note here is if you can't feel the low trap turning on or you've always struggled there, maybe focus on trying to decrease the tonicity of the upper trap before going into your low trap work.
I want to show people a visual of what it is that you're talking about. So, So, the upper trap are these muscles that we really classically think of as being tight on a lot of us. These muscles up here, right? What brings the shoulders up towards the ears? Yes. So these are the muscles that, if they're too tight, they will literally prevent these muscles down here from being able to turn on. So it's really important to keep the shoulders relaxed down the back. Yes, not like that. And then the low trap muscles that we're talking about are down here. Okay, and you can see he's turning them on for us down here. So it's really nice for you to have a visual of exactly what it is we're trying to turn on in your brain, because I want you to reach your hand back and kind of scratch and touch this area, because I need your brain to connect to this spot, because this is an area that doesn't get turned on very often, and we're going to use every tool that we can to try to get it to turn on and work better. Okay.
Yeah, so great. So with this, I'm going to face that way. Okay, so Lily's going to use her hands to point out what I'm talking about, but bear with us and try to learn something. So bent over trap 3 or low trap raise, seated. What does that mean? It means we're going to be seated. It also means that I need to choose something that's not going to limit my ability to maintain good spinal positioning. So if I have a really nice like lazy boy lounge or something like that, it may cause me to have to sit like this, throw my spinal position out of whack into a huge kyphosis or curve, and I'm not going to be able to do this. Okay? So pick something that's hard, maybe wood or hard plastic or something like that, that's going to allow you to maintain good spinal position, but also bend over without running into your knees. Okay? Once you're going to get bent over, and we need you to hold this. Okay? Your arms, one thing I want to think about is pulling my scapulas down back. If they're forward like this, my upper trap is shortened. Okay? And like we said, it's going to have the low trap be disabled. Okay, so pull your shoulder blades down back.
So right there, that's what he's talking about. The first action is drawing the chest through so that the shoulder blades squeeze together on top of the spine.
Okay, and then from there, I'm going to think about, Lily, can you point to my low trap? Okay, I'm going to think about driving that point to the ground. Okay, I'm going to think about bending my whole spine like that around that point. Okay, and squeezing those muscles hard. As I squeeze that muscle, the top of the shoulder blade is pulled down towards my weight, and that frees up the motion for my arm to get raised without any impingement from. Okay, so I'm going to set my shoulder blades. I'm going to think about that point, bending, bowing my back and squeezing that muscle. Pause, come back down. Note that the more you bend over, the more gravity is working, and the more difficult this is going to be. Okay, so if this is too difficult, start tall, and start here, and work your way down as you get better. and then you can add weight once you've learned to get all the way down here and be able to contract it with good form.
One last thing I want to add is that we don't want the setting of the shoulder blades to come from the low back. Okay, so just making sure that before you do this movement, you're taking a good 360 breath so that your lumbar spine is in a neutral position and you can have stability downstream for those low trap to move off of.
Yeah, and this is a really difficult exercise. Okay, so no weight or those 2.5s are really gonna be great starting place. Okay, note that if you're feeling this in your upper trap or your delts, just because you're achieving the same end range position of getting overhead does not mean you're low trapped. Okay, so if you're talking about how strong you are, dude, bro, I did these with freaking 40s. It's probably a different exercise than you think it is, because I call BS. There's no way. Okay, so check yourself. Really focus on the contraction. Remember that this is here as a shoulder health exercise. This isn't going to be like your heavy Pendlay rows for mass and strength. And just recognize that. Recognize what the exercise is for. Recognize the role that it plays and the stimulus that it needs to get better. And just aim for those things. Don't make things to be things that they aren't. Let power be power. Let correctives be correctives. And let preventative exercises be preventative.
Enjoy.